they get to go. And this is Amber. And this is Tasha Fugit.
Did everyone hear that name? Tasha Fugit?
It's an academic program. Not only that, I kind of want to brag on these girls. They're Algebra 1 students, and I get kind of timid because she says, Miss Joseph, I'm so sorry, but my algebra grade was 100, but it went to 97. As long as you go 97, we have nothing to complain about.
And we also have a certificate and a cardinal from Miss Chapin because she puts in a tremendous amount of hours working toward this. And she's also been great for the students of Martin County.
Very well.
We greatly appreciate that.
Send us a copy of those pictures because they'll go in their manual if they get to go to nationals.
Okay, we sure will.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job, Bill.
Next item on the agenda under reports is administrative staff reports. Diagnostic report presented by Lisa Kirk and Ann Burns.
And that is
First, let me introduce Ann. She's with us this evening from KDE. She's our education recovery leader and is in the district from time to time to assist. And she also helped prepare the PowerPoint for this evening. I'm hoping that all of you have by now read through the document, the diagnostic review. And also, if you've had a chance to look at this PowerPoint before tonight, it was very difficult to condense a 60-page document into a simple presentation for the meeting this evening. So as we get through, if you want to stop and ask questions as we go along, we'll both be happy to help in any way that we can. The diagnostic review itself, and basically I hate to read to you, so I'll just kind of hit the highlights of the slides. But it's just a process of the systems that we have in place in our district and our overall organizational effectiveness. Standards and indicators. The standards help define what matters, and that's what we were looking at, or what the team that came to the district was looking at the days that they were here. It was a snapshot of those days that they were in the district, the evidence that they've collected. When they collected the evidence, they looked at these areas, the 5 standards. And you'll notice in this slide particularly, teaching and assessing for learning is the focus of the district, or of the review itself. And those other standards support teaching and assessing for learning. And we'll be looking at each one of those standards as they did on the days that they were here. Standard 1, purpose and direction. The overall rating for that was, for our district, was 1.3, and again, this is on a scale of 1 to 4. And just so you know, a 4 is, Mr. Fletcher and I discussed this earlier this evening as well. 4s are very hard to attain. It's 3 is what most districts receive. And let me back up just a little bit. When they did this audit was based on these standards that they have done over 30,000, I believe, districts and schools internationally to come up with these standards. So standard 1, purpose and direction. And this is the vision that sets the tone for the district for everything else. Our rating for the district, 1.3, as I said earlier, and basically this was based on our comprehensive district improvement plan. Is it being visited regularly? Is it being reviewed, revised, and so forth by the leadership team? Leadership team, you understand, is the board, Mr. Blackburn, and then everyone else in helping with that. Standard 2, governance and leadership are our policies and practices and procedures guided by our mission and vision. If we believe in our mission and vision of the district, then everything we say and do should be based on the vision and mission. Again, it's our purpose and direction, engagement of our leadership team, and the policy development that supports that. And again, I'm just going through this. If I'm hoping that you've read it all, but if you have questions, please feel free to stop me, because it's Very big document. All right, standard 3, teaching and assessing for learning. Are we, as a leadership team, reviewing, monitoring, evaluating the data for our students? Do we have structures and systems in place that support learning? Are we monitoring that learning? Are we looking at quarterly reports from our various schools?
So what did it say? Are you going into that further?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This is
This
just
is just because
okay.
one of the things I
Okay.
read, which I read the document, it's talking about the intervention plan.
Mhm.
That it was on, we had it on paper as far as implementation. It was very limited. Is that true?
Well, I'll let you answer as part of the leadership team, as part of their review when they came into the district. They interviewed, I understand, each of you as well as former board members, and that was part of their evidence.
Yes, it was according to, again, the state audit, which I feel very, very bad about, which, after reading the article, after being here for 3.5 weeks, what I determined from what I read, that, incompetent and incapable as far as leadership. Is that true? Is that what
Well, let me stop you right there. I think you're trying to take a personal jab at me.
I'm not taking
And that's
it.
not
I'm
gonna
just saying,
happen.
I'm just saying what I read.
That's not going to happen.
I'm not taking it.
That's not going to happen.
Is this true? I'm going to give you.
It's not, it's what their audit team has determined.
It's a snapshot of what the outside people coming in, what they saw when they came in.
I just want to, explain what I read because I don't understand. I haven't been explained as far as what we should do right now. So, I just want to make sure because we want to make sure we're on.
Okay. But from what I can understand, and I spoke, I guess to your boss, Susan already, and I read a report, and if a report says that the leadership is incapable, then that means that we're incapable of managing the intervention at Shelby Block High School.
Which I'm a part of.
Then you assume that means state takeover. But as Ms. already told me, it's more of a prescriptive thing. Some of the questions that were asked of me, of course, I've been a new board member for 4 months, and I knew about the education recovery specialist. I knew about the person at the high school, the math person. You had a person for literacy, you had a person for leadership. And the only way that I knew that is because one of the candidates that we were considering for superintendent was Dr. Drew Henson. And I watched a number of his, videos. And, to say that I wasn't aware of what was going on at the high school was kind of incorrect because I did know that they had those 3 people. But getting to talk to them or knowing what they were doing, being a board member in addition to my regular job was I just assumed everything was all right. I mean, they were there, they were doing their job, I guess the communication at the high school. So I won't say that I took exception to the being incapable, as a board, because I'm only one board member. I would like to know, is your title, are you what would be referred to when they first came up with the PLA school, as a district coach? Is that your position? If you remember that position.
I've only been employed since April of last year.
Okay.
So when they did the first leadership assessment, Susan Allred was the ERD, which is what I am now. And then when the associate commissioner went to Jefferson County as an assistant superintendent, she stepped up to that position. They hired me.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what the district coach position, I'm not.
Okay, have you ever heard that term used?
Not until we delivered the diagnostic review this.
Okay.
couple
Well, in
of
cohort,
days.
in cohort 2, which was, Michelle Clark was part of that, when they came in and did the audit at the high school, they also did an audit of the leadership here. And part of their finding was that the leadership had the capability provided, and they went through this list, and one of that was an assignment of a district coach to this, to this area, to the school district. And I just assumed that Susan Allred was the district coach. because I spoke to her a number of times. So
So if that's true, then yes,